My name is Stephen Watmore.
So, if you listen to the first two audios that I've pushed up, you've heard me basically shape a story on how subliminals work, the numbers prove it, and that these subliminals can have a very negative impact upon us, meaning they cause stress, and that if we're not careful, we can impact society. I also talked a little bit about embedded images, and I picked on YouTube enough, so I'm going to pick on a different industry, and who are also very heavy users of subliminals. And the reason I'm going to pick on this industry, they happen to be the easiest to pick this out. And what I'm going to talk about is dynamic content manipulation. So I'm a geek, I'm a technologist. I did a short stint with a company, a digital asset management company. And what that means is, basically you manage all your assets, all your digital assets, images, videos, and so on. You manage it on a server, and you can serve it up dynamically. Now, this is big usage is in retail. So basically, when you go and look at a picture of a shirt, and you want to see what the shirt looks like in a different color, we dynamically change the color of the shirt. So basically, we take the original image of the shirt, and they want to see it, the original image is in white, and they want to see what it looks like in red. We serve up the image of the white shirt with the red masking. Basically, we change the color of the shirt. It's a lot easier, to store this, this content in one spot and dynamically manipulate it. And I know that. I know this works because I worked in a company that did it. So there are a number of things going on here. So, and I'm going to pick an industry, the adult pornographic industry, and I'm going to pick on Pornhub specifically because they're the easiest to pick this out. Dynamic content manipulation. So what they're doing, and there's a few things going on here, is they're dynamically playing with the content. Now, I could be wrong, but it's irrelevant, but I'm pretty sure they're dynamically playing with the content. Basically, they're dynamically changing what they're serving up. And I don't mean dynamically meaning on the fly. They're re-rendering in the background, and it's the videos have multiple the index and search and content. Tag the videos with different tags so they can serve up essentially the same video under different search terms, right? And if you look at these videos closely, you'll notice that these videos all seem to be almost exactly the same, but you'll see different images, and basically they're overlaying stuff. Now, I could be wrong there, but that's actually irrelevant because there's other things going on with these videos. The other thing that's going on with these videos is 3D perspective simulation. And what that means is a lot of these videos are encoded a long time ago before 3D cameras came out. But now they're serving it up, and they want these videos to have a certain amount of depth to them. And if you know anything about how the eye sees, we create an image, a version of the world, and our eyes project that, and our brain recognizes that particular perspective. If you look at these videos that these companies are serving up, their perspective is completely wrong. Their perspective does not match the real world. And that's because they're simulating it. So the far off endpoint doesn't match the close endpoint. So they're basically simulating this 3D perspective. So if you go back to the second audio, where you're seeing all this weird stuff, are these videos where the 3D perspective doesn't match the real world causing stress? I would say yes, they are. And it's not that you actually have to recognize it. And this is similar to the subliminals embedded. Your brain doesn't actually need to actually hear it, which is how they continue to win. Your brain doesn't actually need to see the difference in perspective. All your brain needs is to recognize it that there's something wrong. Something's going on that doesn't match the real world. And we all live in the real world, but when we go online, all of a sudden we're served up all this content which doesn't match, and it creates a small iota of stress or worry or concern or whatever. So the 3D perspective is doing the same damn thing as the subliminal zone, but you don't have to recognize it. You just have, your brain sees it and goes, whoa, something's weird. But if you pay very close attention, you'll actually notice that in this. The other thing that's going on, and it's combined with the 3D perspective simulation, or interpolation actually more so, is continuous object detection. what I mean by that is every single actor or person has a frame. Basically, my arm is in a specific location. It's attached to my shoulder. My leg is in a specific location. It is attached to my hip. If you look at these videos, what you'll see is the leg is in the wrong spot. It doesn't look like it's attached anymore. It looks like it's somewhere else. Because the algorithms they use to determine, to interpolate the 3D perspective doesn't have continuous object detection. Meaning, it can't tell that leg, which is obscured by a different object, is actually attached to the person. So it interpolates, or it estimates where that leg should be. So if you pause these things, and I'm picking on Pornhub specifically because it's the easiest one to actually see. If you pause one of the videos, you'll notice very clearly, wait a minute, that guy's arm is obviously in the wrong spot. So when you're playing it at 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second or whatever, how many frames per second, you may not see it live, real time, but your brain sure the hell's noticing it. And if you pause it, you sure the hell's noticing it. Is that causing stress to all the people using it, watching this? And is the same thing happening elsewhere? I would say absolutely yes. Now, is it a factor of the software, the rendering they're using? Is it a factor of them reusing their content multiple ways? Is it a fact that they're dynamically manipulating this on a server farm somewhere so they serve up the same content over and over again with different faces, different names, whatever? Is it a factor of maybe the screens, the graphic card? Does it matter? My name is Whatty. Can you hear me?
Please hit that subscribe button. I'd like to continue my research and hopefully YouTube can finance it for me. My name is Whatty. I think you heard me.